Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BLEAV50, that's BLEAV50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary point guard Eric Snow and my brother Teja Dash. Gentlemen, how we all doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good.
Pretty good. One more preseason game. We're home free, baby.
Finally.
That was quick.
Yeah. Yeah, and it helps that like we're seeing our guys dominate throughout the preseason so far. And now we got with the Hornets tonight, and that caps off for preseason. So today we have a different type of show. We're going to kind of take a deep dive into the best bets the season long for the 76ers. Just, throw a little variety at you guys for as we head into the regular season. But before we do that, we're going to go into our first topic, which is to kind of talk about what we've seen so far from preseason. Sixers rolled to 3-0 after beating the Cavaliers for the second time on Monday. Things of note: shooting, Harden's first step, and Maxey looking like the guy that we kind of hyped up all throughout the offseason. So what are your thoughts and feelings so far from what you guys have seen throughout the preseason?
You guys seem enthusiastic for the most part. Look like a good team with great potential. It's just hard for me, when you don't really have your full bunch each game to kind of see on multiple games. So it's kind of hard. You end up just picking how guys are playing individually, but even that's tough because roles and things are going to change when you have your full team. So it's just good to see them out there. And I'm going more on, are they competing? Are they trying to defend? And are they, trying to play, passing the ball, or do they look like a good cohesive group? And from that standpoint, I think so.
Teja, what have you noticed? What are you excited about?
It's funny that our probably our worst first half is when we did have our full starting five.
Yeah.
When Embiid wasn't there. The other two halves, the first halves of the other games, we pretty much handled the entire time. The last game against Cleveland, it's cool to play the same team twice in a row too, because you can see the blatant differences between how we play with a full team and then without Embiid the second time. They were missing Love and someone else too, but they had most of their guys there. Overall, I feel great. I think we were looking for. I wanted to see Harden's feet. I want to see how quick his feet were, because we're comparing. It's a much different Harden to previous years, where he says he's way more far ahead in his conditioning than he usually is. So it's interesting to see how quick his feet is. He broke some ankles. He made the dude fall. That was awesome. And then he's just getting to the rim a lot easier. Is he so much faster? No, but he's not laboring as much to get to the rim. I feel like he's not last year when he was getting to the rim, he was huffing and puffing like Jamal Lewis on the sidelines after a 50-yard run. All right. You guys know what I'm talking about. But now it's like he does it. It's what he expected when he was thinking up the play, or when he was thinking what to do to this guy. Whereas last year, it almost felt like he was throwing the kitchen sink out there to try to get by somebody, doing anything he can, right? Like an old crafty pitcher. But now it's like he just has that first step and he gets there. It's awesome. And I think also maybe the best 3-point shooting that we've had in Embiid's tenure. bench and starters. I think it's going to be awesome to watch what we finally wanted to design around Embiid, which is just like everyone can hit threes. So that's great.
Just lastly, before we go to the bets for the season, what do you think about Matisse, Teja? I think he went 3 for 3 the other night.
I'm rooting for him. It was funny too. I was listening to Bill Simmons podcast with Zach Lowe, and they had a is this it for the Sixers segment? It was just about like a 10-minute segment on just the Sixers, and Simmons was really high, and I think this is the year. I think this is the year Sixers do it. I think they both said pretty much the same thing. They both have kind of the same concerns, but he brought up Thybulle at one point. He calls him Thybulle too, which is he goes back and forth. He says anyway. He was saying how you see he gets infatuated with guys who play amazing defense or who just can't shoot because there's so many of those guys, the long wings who can just guard everything and can't shoot. But he's like, I still think he has this year to become a good enough shooter to not match his defense, but get close enough, right? So that's what we're all hoping for. Hey, man, I hope he can continue it. I hope he can. I don't need 3 for 3. I mean, give me a bunch of 1 for 3s, and I'm okay with that too, actually. So, like we said, aim for the stars, hit the roof.
Yeah, I said it's was 33.3% good enough.
I'm good.
You said 1 for 3, so now you're coming around.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I won't be mad at 1 for 3. I won't, because it 1 for 3 every game. You have to get on him. You shouldn't leave him open every time. If he does 1 for 3 for the first 20 games, that's enough of a scouting report. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, for a team to be like, okay, he can hit that shot. Let's get on him.
Teams will pretty much say, don't give him clean looks if he hits one. I mean, that's pretty much how they would defend him.
I mean, look at Tucker. Tucker wasn't always a knockdown corner 3. He built into that. He became that. Now it's like he's known for it. You go from like
known for corner 3s.
Yes. You go from like not being a shooter at all, like let him take it, to I think he can hit that, to no. Don't let him take that. Don't let him take that. He's gonna hit it. So it's just that's how it can go.
But it became the only shot he was taking too. So that's where that's the question of how they're going to use Thybulle. Is that going to be his shot exclusively, like Bruce Bowen? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that how he's going to be used? Because then it's like, get your sweet spot. Which side are you best on? So if you're best shooting from the right or the left side, whichever side is the best, make sure you're taking 90% of your shots from that spot. So it's just stuff.
Yeah,
that's
interesting. I'd like to look at Thybulle's shot chart to see where he does hit the best percentage. I'll take a look at that this week. And
if that's the case, like that's the kind of stuff, and I'm sure they chart it, but it should be noted.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you're shooting, that most of the time you'll see him. Most right-hand shooters are usually better on, the right side. So if we're watching the home game, like in front of the Sixers bench.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll certainly be tracking it. That's for sure.
Hey, we're just happy you're coming around on Thybulle, man. I think you just say, you gave Tucker time and he became a knockdown 3-point shooter. That's what Eric and I've been saying all offseason.
I wouldn't say come around. I'd say, if anything, I've been a Thybulle flip-flopper. I'll give myself that.
All right.
Is that better? Is that more honest? I'm being honest.
No, you haven't been a flip-flopper. You have flipped.
Yeah.
You have not flopped back.
No, because I started being a big time Thybulle.
That's what I'm saying. You were with him and then you flipped back. Then you flipped when you weren't. So you haven't really flopped back to where you were initially. You're still on the other side. You're still waiting. You didn't go back and forth. You flipped one time.
I'm back in. I'm back in the saddle. I mean, I got like one leg in it. I'm holding on to it like this. My other leg's like dragging.
We need some regular season games to know if you.
That's true. Okay, maybe I'm not officially. I'm not totally on the saddle.
one game and one 0 for 4. And
I'm like, holding on like the car door with like rollerblades on. How about that? Like that's what I'm doing.
I was gonna have one stretch where he goes like 0 for 7 over like 2 games.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Yeah, you're gonna be back on here like overreactionary Stephen A.
Hey
Smith.
guys, I'm not gonna need to do that with him. If he goes over 7, if he goes over whatever for 10 games straight, he ain't getting minutes for very long. Okay, so don't worry about me selling out Thybulle. You worry about that coaching staff selling him out because there's a lot of guys on that team who's gonna take those minutes and run with it. We have a competitive second unit now, so he has to hit those shots if he wants to stay on the court, at least some of them.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
His contract here, you got to pull, NFL running back move and just make it work out there. Get that money in that contract year.
Pull a Josh Jacobs.
I was just going to say that. There you go.
Yeah, I'm sure it's ingrained in your memory after a Monday night performance.
Yeah. Yeah. That happens.
All right, so we're going to delve into kind of season-long things to look at, some of the best bets, and just looking at player stats altogether. So my first question for you guys is, who are going to be the top 3 scorers for the Sixers? In the last few years, Tobias has been up there with Embiid, but now it looks like there might be a little change in the top 3 for the Sixers. So who do you guys have as the top 3 scorers for the Sixers this season?
I'm assuming 2 and 3 is where it gets dicey.
Yeah.
Yes. 1 is going to be Joel. 2 is not going to be James.
Ooh, getting spicy already.
It's not going to be James. It's all making sense to me after watching James in the preseason. Why he and Doc had that conversation. It makes sense now. He's been playing more.
Is James going full Chris Paul on us?
Going more facilitator than scorer. So that leads me to think that I don't even think his volume would be enough to score second on this team. I think his assists may go up more than his point. I think his assists may go up and points may go down. Teams are going to start playing him one-on-one. They're going to stop doubling him. So I just think he's, especially with the ball in his hand, he'll become more of a facilitator.
Do you think he's going to have a lot of single-digit shooting nights?
I hope not. I hope
not scoring. I mean, shot attempts. Like 8,
that's what I'm
5,
saying. I hope not. I don't think it's there. I don't think he's there yet. But the way you get there is that teams don't leave you open, so he don't get a lot of clean looks. Excuse me. So if he's not initiating it and he don't get clean looks, that's how your volume go down. I just think that Maxey, the way he's scoring and not, I know it, Joel hasn't been there, but the way he's getting it, he can still do it with Joel. The only thing I'm questioning is whether he's going to take those quick threes when Joel comes back. There's been a lot of those. He's been making them.
Lillard out there.
Yeah, I just don't know if they're going to play like that with Joel. And I don't know if that play, even without Joel, is really good enough for a regular season play. If I had to choose right now based on what I've seen, I would say Maxey would be 2. And I would argue that Tobias would be 3.
Wow.
Because I just see James. I really see James right now as a 15, 16, 17-point scorer.
Wow.
And not from skill. I just think that he's more into the making plays. And I just think what that's going to do is that's going to take away his, outside of shooting the ball and being able to score the ball. One of the best things James did while he was scoring all those points was getting to the line.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the less aggressive he is, the fewer times he gets to the free throw line. And that's how I think his points go down.
But if he's less aggressive more often and he picks his spots.
When I say less aggressive, I mean less aggressive to score.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So if he's less aggressive to
and
score,
like I've said before, I think James will have games where he's going off, and he'll have some 30-point games in there, but he'll also have some 10 and 12-point games in there.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's less,
I'm going back and forth on James and Tobias. I think it'll be really close, but if Tobias' minutes is there, I think the volume is there because he's sort of at that stage where is he going to stick around or is he going to play? So I just think that he's at a point of his career where he has to kind of show more resolve as far as his role. And I think he's done a good job of like fitting the role. But
Tobias
I think
you're talking about?
Yes. Okay. But I think with all of these changes, I think he's like, I can do more. And I think he'll be put in position to do more. I think House and all the other guys that we got going to all end up being spot up shooters. So I think if you're looking at matchups, you can arguably say outside of Maxey and Joel that Tobias may have a better scoring advantage one-on-one outside of those two. Because James most likely is going to always have arguably the hardest perimeter defender to score on.
At what point are they going to put the better defender on Maxey, though? How long does because Harden's got the name and the career to warrant the better defender?
Yeah, he has that, but sometimes it's like excuse me, playing against the Clippers. Like let's say for instance, when I play the Pacers, or the Bucks, I guarded Mark Jackson and and Sam Cassell, and AI guarded Reggie Miller and Ray Allen. Those guys, Ray and Reggie were the better players, but it was harder for Allen to guard Sam and Mark because they posted him up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, and he had a harder time guarding post-ups than he did chasing guys off screens because he could use his length and kind of challenge shots. So that's what I'm saying. Like the way Maxey's kind of getting his buckets, it isn't really, no matter who you have on him, kind of the way he's getting them is different because it's not like set plays. It's like transition, pull up J's, swing, the ball's change size and there's like a rotation and he's there. So it's not like they're coming down.
And once he gets the ball, he just darts.
Yeah, so I think when they get to the point where they're coming down and he's getting volume as far as they're calling plays for him, he's bringing the ball up the court, he's going to the pick and roll. But right now, and like I said, we haven't really seen the full unit for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But until he's doing that, I don't think teams will do it.
Let's say we get a month or two, or let's say it goes exactly like you said. Let's say James comes out averaging like 16 the first month of the season. Max is averaging like 23, 24. How long does the NBA need before they kind of reconfigure what they went into the season believing? Like we went in thinking Houston, Harden, young Maxey, but now it's like reversed. Now it's like Houston Harden is now Maxey averaging 23. And
yeah,
I
think once you get into December, and it really depends on how well the team. So say for instance those numbers and the team is playing really well, the better the team is playing, the sooner the talk will come.
Mm-hmm.
But once you hit December and you got the big Christmas weekend, big Christmas game, then people start talking about all-stars. That's when it'll kind of hit. And that kind of depends on, like you say, how early. It kind of depends on how well you're playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we're winning, we're leading the East, then, when shows come on, that's going to be leading the show when they talk about the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's going to become, how do we stop them? Because we're not doing something right the last time we played them. So what can we do differently? Whereas If we're not winning
you'll
games, they're
see
like,
different teams start doing different things, and you may have you may see a team that their best defender is a Thybulle type, where he's long and he's a wing perimeter guard and Maxey. Then they may have a little smaller point guard that want to pester you. Like you play Brooklyn, like Kyrie's going to be on James.
yeah,
He's not on Maxey. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
You just never know. But then who they put on them, it depends. Like we sort of have a situation. I mean, you'll find a lot of people putting, like people did in the playoffs, putting their smaller guy on PJ.
Yeah. And their weakest defender too.
Yeah.
Just stick him in the corner and let him, hang by PJ.
You're gonna just, you got to box him out, which
Mhm.
PJ's done a good job of adjusting. That's why he's kind of changed that and added that to his career, his game, because people were putting smaller guys on him.
He's gotten craftier around the rim for sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. It's I agree. I'll do my top three scorers. I do want to say though, to go back to the Harden thing one more time. If Harden, not to say he's playing possum, but in that conversation with Doc did reemphasize you are two. So I have a feeling that it won't go too low in the points per game, because Doc's going to have no problem repeating, I need you to be aggressive now. Like, you need to do it in the next 2 minutes. I need Houston Harden now. It's like pressing a button. So I don't think it'll go too far down. I don't think it'll be as low as 15. Harden, Embiid's number one. So let's just 2 and 3. Yeah, it was tough for me too. I'm going to go, I think all three of those guys are going to be so close. Embiid, Harris, Maxey, and Harden. I'm going to go Harden and Maxey. But it's like Embiid high 20s. Harden and Maxey will probably be separated by a point. It's a good problem to have, though. I really don't even care who's edging the other guy out. If they're combined averaging around 40 plus, those two guys, then that's great. If Harris, Maxey, and Harden are close to averaging like 60 plus, then man, we're going to win a lot of games in the regular season.
I should know, that's my young fella. CJ average in Portland.
Well, like when he was a young buck?
No, when he was sort of his top years.
I want to say low 20s. Probably 23. It's just my
so at year 3 is when he first started to get serious minutes. So year 3, 20.8 points a game. Year 4, 23 points a game. Year 5, 21.4 points a game. So yeah, it's probably an average about 21, 22.
Yeah, 22 looks like.
Yeah, I don't see Maxey being much more than that.
Yeah, that's a good scale for him.
Yeah,
and I think so it'll be really close. I'll get CJ's more craftier than Maxey, but I'd say Maxey's definitely has that more explosion to him. But
I don't think he's not a better half court offensive player as CJ, but he's a better transition scorer.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking at it from a scale of not being the main guy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And Portland's always had a few guys who could score on top of Lillard and CJ. So it was like the ball was getting around to a lot of people that needed shots. I think they did that NBA survey they did with players and coaches, I think it was, or just coaches and staff or some all NBA or something. Maxey was voted, I think 1 or 2. I think number 2 fastest player with the ball. He was top 3 fastest player with the ball.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Nice to have.
Yeah, it's nice to have. Okay, so kind of following up on this, so the Vegas has set the over under for all three of the. So 3 of the guys we were talking about. Embiid is the favorite to be the scoring champion, and they have his total points at 30.1 points a game. So I'll go through all three of the guys and just ask you guys over under. So 30.1 points a game. You guys have over under for Embiid.
Under.
Too many guys shooting, man. I just don't. I think Embiid's going to take it a little easier. I don't think he's going to try to force as much up. I think shots will come easier because of all the guys that have attention, but I don't think he's going to get as many shots up as he did. I don't think he's going to need to, honestly. So I'm going to go under.
So do you guys think he'll lead the league in scoring?
No, there's going to be a more desperate one-man show out there in the NBA somewhere. I don't think he's going to need to. I think he'll average.
I don't think the team will allow it, as far as it's not going to be needed. If he has to score 30 points, I think we're in trouble.
Yeah, unless it comes that easy.
Because I don't think teams won't let him play like that. They're going to double him, and I just don't think teams will let him play.
Yeah, I'd say he's high 28s. I'd say he averaged like 28 something.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys, based on what I'm hearing, you guys think he might average a career high and average assists per game maybe for him this year?
I didn't say that. You said that.
No, I'm saying that's what it sounds like.
He may average more. It's possible he could average more. I could see his rebounds. I would like to see his rebounds go up, and assists definitely go up, especially if guys are shooting the ball well. But I just don't see 30 a game. Like, I just don't see it this year.
I think his minutes can come down. I think his shot attempts can come down a little. I think he can expend a little more energy on defense again, is what I think he can do. Because he's had to take on more offense, and you can't do what old Embiid playing like 20 minutes a game, like diving for every single ball like that. You can't do that for 35 minutes a game, man. You're not going to last all season. So if he can scale back a little energy on offense, and if shots come easier to him, then I'd like his defense to go up a little bit. Not to say it was bad last year, because it wasn't, but he can expend a little more energy there.
Yeah, and I think he's even alluded to that himself. So
yeah, he's talked about just us being just a better defense team, and we will need to be.
All right, so the next over-under, I think I know where Eric's going on this one, but Harden's over total points is 21.9 points a game. Over or under?
Under.
Go under. When we thought we
we
laid that out. Yeah.
But so you think like a peak for him would be like 18 points a game? Yeah, that could be it.
To me, if he had 18, he had double-figure assists, I would think that's a success for me.
I think he'll be in he'll be close to getting 20. I think he'll be in the 19s. That's still almost 2 points less than what they're predicting, though. That's a big. So that so far, I'd say you parlay a Harden under and an Embiid under. You got a nice little juice on that one so far.
All right, so Maxey's the total points for him is 18.8 points a game. Over or under?
Over.
I agree. Well, it's funny because if you look at what we're doing, Maxey would probably have to go over at this point, right? If we're predicting Harden to be like 2 to 4 points less, Embiid 2 to 3 points less, someone's got to get those. Tucker's not going to average 15 a game. So, I mean, Maxey's got to get a little more, right? And what did he average last year? Wasn't it like 18, 17, 18?
I believe so. I believe it was 18.
So, I mean, less for other people, less attention on him. We're already saying he's not going to get the primary defender for at least the first half, unless he proves it. So that's half a season with the weaker guard on you. I mean, he better roast.
Yeah, Maxey averaged 17.5 last year, and Harris averaged 17.2 last year.
He'll improve it. He'll go over 18.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one, so I think as the conversation, as we're talking about the facilitation role that Harden's going to take on, I think he will be kind of the assist king this year, and the NBA also believes he'll be or Vegas has him as the assist king. He has the highest odds to be the assist leader in the NBA, and they have him averaging 10.2 assists per game. So question for you guys, will that be over or under 10.2 assists per game for Harden?
Over.
I think so.
When I say he'll score less, I think his assist goes up.
I think Harden, if you asked him what would you rather do, lead the league in points this year or assists, I think he would say assists. I think he wants to. I think he's going to make a point to try to lead the league in assists. And you think about it, looking at his stats, he hasn't averaged less than 10 assists a game since 2019.
Damn.
All right. So why would that be any less than this? I have no clue. He's on a more talented team than he was in Houston at this point. So why would he average less than that? I think he averages like 11, maybe. 11 or above, I'd say.
So you think? Do you guys think that he'll be the assist leader for the entire NBA?
I'll say yes.
I think so too. Yeah, it's cool. We have the Vegas odds on assist leader and points leader.
Yeah. All right. So next topic. This is one that I've had circled for months now. But we have the second highest odds to win the most games by the All-Star break, which is really interesting. But how do you guys feel about the 50.5 total wins for the season? Do you guys believe that'll go over or under?
Over.
I'd say over. Yeah, I'd say pretty. Easily over. I guess like 50. I think like 54, 55.
Yeah.
What we talked about this? What did we win last year? 53, 54?
Wasn't it like 51 last year?
Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to predict too many over, but I'll go over what they're saying.
51.
Yeah.
So basically they're saying, are we going to do just as good as we did last year? It would have to be a colossal, I think almost a failure to win less than 50.
I think if we only get 50 point, was it 50.5?
Yeah.
50.5, yeah.
50.5, you could arguably be looking at a six seed.
Possibly. Yep.
All right, well, that's a good segue to our next one. So conference seeding. So right now they have us at 4.5 seed in the East. What do you guys have, over or under 4.5 seed in the East?
Over. What is that? If I want to be top 4, is that over, right?
Yes.
I think we're top 14. Yeah, we're top 14. We're not going to finish below 4.
I was just looking at this the other day. I think we've only finished worse than fourth one time in the last 5 years. It was when we were a 6 seed in 1920 season. I'd say we're better than we're at least 4. That's a good bet too. 4.5, because I just don't.
1920 season, we didn't even finish the season, right?
Yep, that was a 73 one. Yep. So that's a weird season anyway. So as far as real full seasons, yeah, we haven't finished worse than that. So I'd say 4 seed or above. I can't see us being worse than that. That's a good bet too.
Yeah.
It's weird how they have this too, because second most win at All-Star break, only 50.5 wins, and 4.5 is our over in seeding. They must think we're gonna either have some injuries late in the season or just
no, without a doubt they do.
We'll start mailing it in. They're expecting it.
They're looking at the injuries of James and Joel missing games. That's totally and our schedule is tougher on the back end.
Yeah. Because that's odd that they would have second most wins in the entire NBA by halfway, and then all of a sudden,
the schedule is tougher, a lot tougher. That's what happens when you play. When TV takes over later in the year, and you got those better games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Plus, I think I don't think we're going to have a problem resting guys going to games. I think we're going to be totally okay with it. If it's even a 50-50 with Embiid, they'd be just sit, man. Paul Reed and Harold look good at that 5, so just sit.
And not that this is any indication, but so far during the preseason, when our guy Embiid hasn't played, they've had us as either 4-point underdogs or 6-point underdogs. We've obviously won every game so far, but the first one against the Nets, I think we were 8-point underdogs. Won that one, and then 2 nights ago against the Cavs, we were 4-point underdogs, and we ended up winning that. So it just shows our depth.
I have no idea. What they go by on preseason. We don't even know who's playing.
Yeah.
We won't even have minutes.
I know.
Like
We don't. Yeah, it's.
no, I can't put any salt in that. I have no idea.
It would also be interesting to see them strategically try to sit Embiid when we're playing small teams, because I think we're going to do, in his absence, we're going to do what we did against the Cavs, a small ball, and have Tucker at the 5.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're playing a small team and he's already kind of like, let's say like just like sore or whatever, just like sit, let's go Tucker at 5 for the night, and let's keep our backups where they are.
Yeah.
What they used to do with Howard, because remember, they wouldn't even start Howard when Embiid was out. They kept him in his role because they liked where he was. So I have a feeling we'll do
I can see them filling in Reed at the, like if Joel missed, I could see them starting Reed at the 5 and keeping Harrell in his position.
Mm-hmm.
If it's against a bigger team, for sure, yeah.
Instead of pushing them up. So,
Yeah.
And Trez and Embiid didn't play on against the Cavs.
I mean, because Harrell, you know, that's the guy they're going to give the ball. So you want to kind of keep him in. He's not just a guy that's coming in, rebounding, and playing defense. Like, they're going to give him looks.
Yep.
So you want to kind of keep him in that same role.
Mm-hmm.
We'll still need scoring off the bench.
That's like a team role for him.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is, so the Sixers have the 3rd highest odds to win the Atlantic. How do you think the Atlantic will go down?
I think they have odds. They have Boston 1, Brooklyn 2, us 3.
Yeah.
We'll be 1 or 2. We won't be 3rd.
Third highest odds.
They have to say 3rd, right? Because that's what puts you at the 5th seed.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, at least that's consistent. Yeah, I think I'd say 2. I think one of the Nets or Boston, one of those 2 are gonna figure it out and look really, really good this year. Nets are such a wild card. It's tough, but Celtics are just bringing back pretty much the same team, adding players.
They both got a lot of drama.
Yep.
So.
You're right. It's Boston. You know, no one would have thought 2 months ago Boston was going to catch up with Nets in the drama department, but they caught them quick, didn't they?
I mean, even with the trade rumors earlier in the summer.
Yeah.
The first game of the year will tell me a lot.
You mean they just lay down and get dominated?
No, I'm just saying it'll just tell me a lot, like how they're going to approach it, how they're competing. I know it's the first game of the year and guys will still be excited, but how they play and how we play in Boston in game 1 will tell me a lot, because it's a game that we all know everyone's watching because it's the first game of the year. But with all the other stuff going on, it says a lot more.
You're absolutely right. I didn't really think about that yet, because we said a while ago, we were talking about, I think like about a month or 2 ago when the schedules was released, we were talking about, important games of the season and whatnot.
Yeah, and I was at the first game. Yeah, I was like, yes.
Yeah, and that was before any of this, right?
Yes.
Like the expectations for us have gone up. Their drama has skyrocketed. So it's almost like people are watching Boston to see if all this stuff will affect them. And people are watching us to see if was it worth it? Was that offseason worth it? Did you guys do the right thing? So it is, man. It's a lot of anticipation.
One game, excuse me. This one particular game goes north or south for either team. It's an issue.
Yeah, you mean like when Boston did to us last year and they dominated us, that would not. And
if we go in there and blow them out like that, that's kind of like, because Boston had a slow start last year, but he may get a lot of credit for that. He's not there.
Even if the drama is not the reason why this is the thing that sucks about media and stories, right? Even if the drama is not what makes them go 0-1, Boston that's what everyone's going to talk about. Oh man, that offseason of drama, it caught up with them. Look,
I mean, at the end of the day, they're the same team. They're not the same unit.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I will say not many people are even talking about. Everyone's talking about Brooklyn and their drama, but no one's really talking about Boston and the head coach situation kind of affecting them on all the NBA shows I've watched, they don't really talk about that the head coach situation kind of affecting the team and the unit.
Totally does.
Yeah.
Totally affects. You can't tell me it doesn't. If you have guys that have already been there, already went to the finals, and they have a guy that's, even though he's been there, it's a different voice and different guy. All of a sudden, like, he's going to get on guys, like, how these it's different. It is different.
It's weird. You expect to talk about it more. I think the story was so crazy. There was so much mystery and intrigue around it that people like almost forgot to talk about the team impact aspect. Everyone was so focused on the allegation and all the stuff around that. So everyone was it just skipped it really. No one's really even, I haven't heard much about Boston, the team.
Yeah.
Since then, I've only heard about him and her and them. And that's it. Like, it pretty much like it swallowed everything, that part of the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. So last one is so the Sixers have the 4th highest odds to win the Eastern Conference. Are you guys taking that bet and laying some dough on the Sixers to win the East?
Well, do re mi, Eric.
4th highest odds. I would go for that. We can win the East.
I mean, look.
I think that I would say our odds of winning the East might even be higher than winning the Atlantic.
Yeah, the only other team I think they'd have above us is Milwaukee. Besides the Atlantic teams, I mean. I think Milwaukee's 1, Boston, Brooklyn, Sixers.
Yeah, we can win it. I mean, because if you're looking at, that group right there, the 4 teams, and we to add Brooklyn in there, out of those 5 teams, if those are the top 5 teams, you can put yourself in position where you can only see 2 of them.
Yeah. That's why you want that 1 seed.
Yeah.
Because if you can get the 1 and avoid 2 and 3, let them fight it out. I mean, playing the 4th team, it depends who it is, but that's not whatever. But maybe the 5th seed beats them. So there's so much to happen before then. But
well, I mean, you could also get a 3 seed and end up playing Brooklyn at 6.
Yeah.
Or playing Boston at 6. You just never know. Like, one of those teams can drop to 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Winning the East, it's a pretty good bet. And as far as, I'd even say, like, to be the number 1 seed to be the number 1 seed to end the season wouldn't be a bad bet either, because if they're already saying we're going to have the highest win total at the halfway point, then, like we said, they're counting on an injury. If we just stay healthy, then we're looking at probably having the number 1 seed at the end of the year. Then, if we're going to have it at the halfway point, so that's actually not a bad bet either. All you're pretty much doing at that point is saying, I hope we stay healthy at the second half of the season.
Yeah,
it's actually looking at it. It's plus 700 for us to win the conference. So if you put 100 on that, you'll win 800.
Okay.
For the seeding, it's plus 400. So it's for number 1 seed, it'd be a plus 400. So we actually have higher odds to get the number 1 seed than we do actually winning the East.
Oh, you mean coming out? You mean representing? It's plus 700 rep. Yeah, because you have to get through the gauntlet of the playoffs, and that's a different story.
Yeah.
So just a 1 seed, but you get the 1 seed, your odds of getting there increase as well. Like that. If we get the 1 seed, that will go. Those odds will plummet.
Yeah,
because they know we won't be facing 2 and 3 in well, we could at the end, but not to get there. So that's definitely interesting. Yeah, but hey, most of these are overs, and the only ones that are under are the ones because we have a bunch of guys who score. So all of these look very encouraging, I must say.
Yeah.
And if you're a Boston fan too, I'd actually, as a Boston fan, be happy that we would have the Boston would have the highest odds to win Atlantic, because if you're looking at all that, you're like, oh man, look at all that drama. There's no way they come out of this, right? That's an easy bet. I'll take Philly or Brooklyn to come out of there. Then why are they putting them number 1? That's a lot of stuff to deal with. They don't know their head coach. Like that's pretty crazy that they do have the highest odds.
I think it's just unknowns because none of that stuff has changed with Boston, and since the whole Udoka thing came out, nothing's changed. The lines have not changed at all with Boston. So I think it's just a big unknown.
People don't know you don't know until you see them. You don't know what to kind of gauge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's gotta levy some kind of change there, right? With
Yeah, but I think they're holding the change until you kind of see. That's why I said that first game. If they come out, then all of a sudden they got a spark and they're playing hard and they're competing, and we'll see.
Yeah. It'll tell you a lot in that first game because the fact that nothing's changed with Boston since this whole thing came out is because we don't know. All we know is they were the team that won the East last year and was in the finals. So that's all we know right now.
It's pretty interesting.
Same team.
I wonder if they lowered the odds, people that believed in Boston would be like, I'm putting more money into it now. It's even better for me.
Yes, they would.
So the fact
I don't think people have changed their mind about Boston. I don't think that they just teams that probably thought they could win it probably still feel the same way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting.
And they got Gallinari, they got injured too. So
yeah.
Interesting.
No, but they got Blake Griffin though, so they're all right. What? What's funny? What do you guys? I'm not.
I'm just there. They're just two different players. I got you.
Yeah. I thought they should have. I thought a closer Gallinari clone would have been Carmelo. Really, I thought he was closer to a Gallinari than Blake Griffin. That's interesting. They went Blake Griffin. Maybe they also wanted a guy who can maybe, in case you know what they're probably thinking, if Robert Williams just like it's a lost season for him with the knee, they're like, Blake's a guy who can shoot a little bit, and we could put on like smaller centers, and he can actually play 5 as a backup.
Mm.
Yeah. So not a bad thought process for them. He could play 2 different positions for him.
Yeah,
I mean, they're gonna play, getting Bronson. They're gonna play 4 with him and Smart and the top 2 players a lot. So,
yeah, that's another thing too. Robert Williams injury, man. Their odds haven't gone down since any of that stuff. That's crazy. So Gallinari, Robert Williams, and losing their coach. What else needs to happen? That would be like us losing. Yeah, that would be like us losing.
Yeah, but I think like
Tucker and like Melton.
Like what Marcus says, I think that people know if they drop those odds, people are going to jump on them. So just kind of keep them there, and then kind of keep the suspense, and then maybe they go up or down later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which usually means that they're not dropping them. They believe they're going to be just as good, because if they don't want people to take it easy odds, and they're like, let's just keep it as is because we
just as good. Yeah, just as good as still it's good, but
Yeah.
The only thing I have noticed, though, in looking at the game line for next week, which we'll talk about on the show on next Tuesday for the opening tip-off, is I think we opened up as 4-point underdogs in game 1. Now we're 3.5-point underdogs. So it has gone down 0.5 point. So it's teetering in the other direction now. So we'll see. We'll make the prediction on the show next Tuesday.
That's been since preseason started, not since injuries, though, right? That's just been since preseason.
When I first looked at it was like 2 months ago, and that was 4 points, and now it's 3.5. So yeah, I don't know. So a lot has happened in 2 months, but only to go down 0.5 point.
A lot's happened. A whole season of drama has happened in 2 months.
Yeah, seriously. But that does it for us, fellas. Thanks for tuning in to Bleav In 76ers, presented by BetOnline. We'll see you guys next week as we predict the opening night matchup of Boston and Philly, and give you the full preview for game 1.
One more week, guys.
All right, take it easy.